It's been 25 years this year since Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg joined the Supreme Court, a quarter century since her confirmation hearings in 1993.
Drawing lines on the basis of gender is, in almost all cases, impermissible. I think generally in our society, change is incremental, and real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time.
Okay, but back up many years before that day. From her time as a young mom studying at Harvard Law School to her first argument before the Supreme Court, one thing has been clear. Regardless of your politics, Ginsburg has been a trailblazer in the fight for gender equality. Now, a new movie that comes out Christmas Day, written by her nephew, gives us an inside look into that fight, her life before the bench. On the Basis of Sex stars Felicity Jones as Justice Ginsburg and Armie Hammer as her husband Marty, covering about 15 years of her life before she was known as the notorious RBG. Joining me here on set, the film's director, Mimi Leder, and one of the film's starring actors, Justin Theroux. It's great to have you guys in Washington.
Thanks for having us.
You had the premiere here last night in D.C., and Mimi, we were just talking, Justice Ginsburg showed up. She watched the movie. She loves it.
For the third time. She loves the movie. She thought it was magnificent. She's very proud of it. She felt it was joyous because during the 60s and 70s, as a feminist, it was a joyous time for her. And she felt that that really came across and that we got her work right in the women's rights movement, and it wasn't men bashing.
One of the cases you focus on in the movie is, mostly focused on in the movie, is one that she argued before the Supreme Court in 1972 that looked at gender discrimination, but discrimination against a man. Why was that kind of a big point for this movie?
Well, because as our movie shows, discrimination on the basis of sex affects us all. It's an injustice to us all, men and women. And she made the country a freer and better place. And it was her first case she ever tried with her husband, Marty Ginsburg, and the first and only case in front of the 10th Circuit. And it was a case that changed a century of discrimination on the basis of sex.
And Justin, you play Mel Wolfe, who is somebody, that she worked with at the ACLU. There's a clip we want to play where your character is having kind of a spat with Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
First, you took half the argument away from me.
Nobody took anything away from you, Ruth. You weren't robbed in the middle of the night, all right? I was giving you this opportunity for the good of the cause.
You gave this to me?
In fact, I did, and get your emotions in check.
You first.
Whew. Talk about what it was like to play a man who's basically telling her, like another man saying, I'm in your way.
He's sort of he's not a villain in the traditional sense, but he's sort of a de facto villain, like in that he was very progressive, very forward-leaning, this guy. You know, you could make the argument that he was trying to take the case away from her and give it to her husband because of his sort of misogynist beliefs, or that she just never litigated. She'd never been given that opportunity to litigate, you know, in front of the court, because she was basically unhireable for the first, or wouldn't be hired.
No one would
highly
hire her.
hireable, but no one would hire her for many years before.
You posted on Instagram last night a picture of you and Justice Ginsburg, and this, I think, was your first time meeting her.
Yes.
What was that like for you, given that you spent so much time on this movie that's centered around this person?
It's, I mean, you obviously you don't know what to say. You know, we were talking about this before the show, which is, you know, she's quite short and she sits like this, and so
she's a small woman.
She speaks very softly, so everyone literally has to sort of bow, but while you're speaking to her, and you have to really lean in, and it's you know, and you know, when she speaks, we were asking her obviously about the movie and different cases, and this particular case, and within about 2 minutes, me and Felicity were speaking to her. She's so deep into the actual law and the subject of the case that she completely loses you. Unless you have a law degree, you're not going to be able to follow
She's in the
her.
weeds on
She's
case law, and you're
what
like, yeah.
exactly. And you're like, all right, well, this is exactly who I want on the Supreme Court, someone I obviously can't keep up with.
The timing of the movie is really interesting, too, because here we are, Mimi, on the heels of a year of the Me Too movement, the year of the woman when it came to what we saw in the midterms just last month. And this is something that Justice Ginsburg has talked about. She referenced the Me Too movement earlier this year. Here's what she said.
I am really turned on by this Me Too. These Me Too complaints are every woman of my vintage has not just one story, but many stories. But we thought there was nothing you could do about it. Boys will be boys.
Well,
How important did you think about the timing of this movie when you were putting it together, when it would come out, the moment that we were in sort of culturally and politically?
Yeah, we knew it was a very timely film.
Yeah.
And we were filming in September when the Harvey Weinstein story broke. And then
stories were breaking all around.
But yeah, not just
filming
that
of
one.
this, yeah.
Right.
And so we knew it was more timely than ever. And so much has changed and so little has changed. But the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement are in its infancy, and it's here to stay.
Mimi, Justin, thank you so much for coming on set and
Thanks
for
for
talking
having me.
about it with us. Good luck for the rest of your premieres. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can catch the movie On the Basis of Sex opening in select cities on Christmas Day and nationwide on January 11th. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.